What are your concerns about what we heard?
We're really concerned, disappointed and ashamed that a British government is going to rip up the Human Rights Act and introduce new laws that curb protest rights. We've got a Censor charter for the internet and also a new data bill that sets to make us the data harvesters of Europe on so many fronts where basic rights are concerned and rights that are important for our future as well with the dawn of new technology. The government is rolling back on rights rather than protecting citizens. And I think for a government that talks about this whole agenda is the people's priorities and we're putting your priorities first. I think from what you've just heard, there are other priorities that people actually have. I don't recall anyone saying, I want the government to take my human rights away.
Silkie, I mean, talking about the Human Rights Act, it was something that David Cameron first brought up, wasn't it, wanting to bring in a British Bill of Rights. People have had a long time to vote with their feet if they've got a problem with this, and Boris Johnson has a huge majority. People aren't worried about this.
I think people are worried about it. There have been a lot of issues that people have been voting on over recent years. And unfortunately, this is one of the things where we've been lucky to live in a democracy. It's easy to become complacent about your rights. And I am concerned that people will start to get really worried about this when it's too late. So really we're relying on parliamentarians who know better, who know how important human rights are in this country, to reject the Bill of Rights, so-called Bill of Rights, which is basically tearing up the Human Rights Act, taking away very basic democratic freedoms that we have, the right to protest, the right to free speech, the right to privacy.
But this new legislation won't get rid of it. I mean, it's not a case of scrapping all of that and then just putting something completely alien in place. Now, it's going to be tweaked, it's going to be slightly different, but it's not getting rid of the right to protest, for example, is it? We will still be able to protest.
Well, the devil will be in the detail and we'll have to wait to see what comes forward. But it's not broke, so it doesn't need fixing.
Do you not think it's broken? I mean, you say that, and we had Kit Malthouse, the Police and Crime Minister, on yesterday morning defending the changes, saying, and a lot of our viewers and listeners will agree with what Kit Malthouse said yesterday, which is people like Extinction Rebellion or Insulate Britain were hugely disruptive to people going about their ordinary life with their right to go and earn a living, to go to hospital appointments, whatever it may be. And they want to protect the right to protest. They want people to be out shouting and giving their opinions, but they want to make sure that life can't be disrupted in the same way, with people stopping power stations, being able to get fuel out when we've got a cost of living crisis. There's a little bit of sense behind it. Would you agree?
The right to protest is absolutely precious in our country. It's not an unlimited right. So we do have lots of laws already that police can use, and why they don't always use them, frankly, I don't know, that can, for example, stop people from blocking roads and do all sorts of things to stop public disorder. But what we're actually seeing here, and it is quite literally a wholesale repeal of the Human Rights Act. Exactly how the government is going to do that remains to be seen. But the fact that they do want to do it, the fact that we've just come out of a pandemic where people had many of their rights and liberties taken away for 2 years, and now we're on the brink of a totally different society without those fundamental rights, this is very, very dangerous territory.